Good morning, everybody. Down Under Entrepreneur coming to you again from Cairns, North Queensland, Australia. It's Monday morning. The sun is shining. It is going to be another fantastic week. So, what are we talking about today? So, we had some interesting questions, as always. And one of the ones that sort of stood out for me, and I know this is something I personally struggled with a little bit, was why am I always single? Why can't I find a meaningful relationship that sort of goes beyond a few months? And I wanted to talk about these because I think having your personal relationship squared away on the home front is important, because obviously if you don't have your personal relationships squared away, and there's a lot of conflict or tension or whatever in the home front, and that sort of affects you in other areas of your life, sort of professionally, socially, all that sort of stuff. So there's one big thing. I mean, the general question was, I have go on lots of dates and and then the guy or the girl or whatever turns into an idiot after a couple of months, and then we break up, and this has been an ongoing cycle pretty much my whole life. Blah blah blah. So there's a couple of things. Maybe you have unrealistic expectations. If you're a guy, maybe maybe you're being a bit too needy, a bit too creepy. If you're a woman, maybe expectations are unrealistic, whether you're a man or a woman. But the big thing is here is you have to understand that what happens is, if there's something going on in your life, then what you have to look at is what they refer to as a focal point of the problem. And the focal point is basically a common denominator which is present in every single scenario. Big scientists do it, and they look at every time they, for example, when they do an experiment, if it constantly fails and fails and fails, what they do is they look at the elements that are the same in every experiment, and then they kind of think, well, hang on, maybe this is what's causing the experiment to fail, or not causing us to get the result that we're looking for. So maybe we need to tweak those, or change them, or remove them completely. So the reality is, if you're having a lot of failed relationships and you're not really getting anywhere on that particular front, then I would probably say at least 95% of the time, potentially all the time, if you really look at the main focal point of the problem in every single situation, because I mean, let's be realistic. Human beings are all different. Sure, there are some of us that have very similar characteristics, similar personalities, but ultimately, at the end of the day, we're all very, very different, very, very unique. So if you're having a lot of failed relationships, you have to look at the one main common denominator which is present in every single one of your relationships. And that, if you're brutally honest with yourself, the answer is you. You are the common denominator in your relationships. So when that common denominator changes, and that's the big thing, you have to be prepared to admit that, well, hang on, shit, maybe I'm the problem. I struggled with it, with relationships. I was single for a very, very long time, and I was going, why? I started doing a lot of research on it, and kind of came to the conclusion of, well, shit, hang on, try and put the shoe on the other foot. And it was, well, I guess if I was a woman, I probably wouldn't want to date me, and the way I am at the moment anyway, and the way I behave and present myself and all that sort of stuff. So then I had to, I spent a lot of time working on myself and changing myself, and then, obviously I'm in a committed relationship, and, for the time being, everything's going great. So just think about that. Obviously, and it boils down to the professional realm as well. If you're constantly, like every job you go to, the boss hates me, da 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 da. Maybe you are actually the problem. It's tough. I understand that, and maybe it's advice that some people don't want to hear. But the reality is if you're struggling, you really want to get ahead, personally, professionally, all that sort of stuff, socially even, then maybe you need to look at yourself as an individual and, maybe think, hey, maybe I'm the problem, and then look at ways that you can fix that. But anyway, guys, I'm not going to sort of harp on too much about this. It's Monday morning. We've got a big week ahead of us. So I hope you're all having an awesome day and have a smashing and a cracker of a week. That's all I've got for you today. Cheers.